Welcome to my garden, everybody. It is the very end of February and I can't wait to show you what's going on in my Northern California garden right now. I'm Fionuala, this is Zone 9B. We've had rain, we've had cold. It's a really nice day today and I just want to show you what's happening in my garden. Partly so that you go outside and have a look to see what's going on in your own garden, because oh my goodness, you don't want to miss a day or a week this time of year. Things are beginning to bloom, things are budding up, weeds are taking hold, critters are coming to nibble on your plants. So you need to get outside, check out your garden, see what's going on. But first things first, let's go look at mine. I barely made it in the gate and I've got to show you this. My pomegranate is already beginning to show signs of life and growth, and leaves are beginning to bud, which is really great because this shows me which twigs are dead, which need trimming off. And right now I can tidy this plant up, make it brighter and airier, and get all those little dead twigs out because all the live twigs are showing the growth that tells me they're going to be leafing out and flowering and giving me delicious pomegranates. And look what else is happening. Hellebores are blooming. Right at the end of February, they've been blooming for a little while. Look at this gorgeous flower. It is so, so pretty. This is a white double. I can't quite remember the name. Honestly, I don't even mind what its name is. It's so beautiful. Anything that blooms this time of year, I am just so very grateful for. There's also a couple of little erodium, kind of little related to the hardy geranium type of family. They're also blooming. And look at this. I've got some cyclamen. I love cyclamen. Absolutely love seeing them growing wild in Croatia and in Italy. And every time I see these little guys blooming in my garden, it reminds me of those fabulous trips I took and what they do out in the wild. Now, if you don't know about cyclamen, so easy to grow. The main thing is they bloom now. They don't like the summer heat. If they're in too much heat and sunshine, they tend to go dormant. They don't like a ton of water either. And the foliage on these varieties, it's just so pretty. They're so well shaded that they don't go dormant right here, and I get to enjoy the foliage all year long. But right now, the bonus is those blooms. And right here, I've got to show you this. This is my absolute favorite primrose this year. I planted them a little while back, and they've been blooming a couple of weeks now with tons more buds, showing me that they're going to keep on blooming for probably 4 to 5 more weeks. Very shaded in this spot, so they're going to be thrilled to bits. And I don't know if you know this already, but primroses are perennials. So this one little plant next year will be double this size in width. The flowers still stay nice and tight and low to the foliage, but the plant just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year, wider and wider, clumping up very slowly, and it's going to fill up this whole spot for me with beautiful little primroses. Now this particular variety is called ballerina, and this one is vanilla. It's creamy white with a beautiful little golden center to it, and it looks pretty spectacular against these white double hellebores. I really enjoy this combination. But I'm going to show you what else is happening right now. My foxgloves are beginning to get a little bit bigger, and probably by April they're going to send up big spikes. Those are white foxgloves too, so I can't wait to see this whole thing. I know the hellebores won't still be blooming, but maybe the primroses will. So it's going to be so pretty. Let's keep going. I haven't got too far yet. I don't know if you remember my previous videos about self-seeding plants in my garden. Well, echium is one of those. It put itself in a very odd spot, but I love it. It's turned itself into a tree, and it's about to make its flower spikes. Look at this. I mean, this is literally in the last week it's begun to do this. I am just so excited about it. Most echiums appear to be biennials. This guy here has been in my garden for at least 3 to 4 years. It did put itself in a very strange spot, but it's so weird and spectacular, it gets to stay here. Speaking of which, self-seeding, monstrous plants. This ginormous geranium, Geranium matarense, is another one of those plants that self-seeds all over the place in my garden. And believe it or not, this pathway was full of them. Maybe about a month ago, I started pulling them out. And my thoughts on that is, I'm going to be weeding anyway. I may as well be weeding something that's so easy to identify. The other super cool thing about that is, they create such a large canopy, they kind of suppress other weeds underneath. I don't even know, that's some kind of a weird technique of gardening, but it works for me because they make such a big canopy, no other weeds grow underneath. If it's growing in the wrong place, I do pull it out, goes on my compost pile, and anybody who still gets to stay here is going to bloom so spectacularly by May. You're just not going to believe it. Okay, so what else is going on in the garden? Here's my rose bush, at least the first of them. It too is showing some signs of life, and beautiful, fresh, tender foliage is coming out. Now this is a really great opportunity to start watching out in case slugs and snails are going to be a problem this year, because they're going to start going after the rose foliage now if they're anywhere in the garden. And so far, I seem to have really gotten a pretty good handle on the slugs and snails, though I should not say that out loud. But so far, it appears I've got a pretty good handle on it because I'm not seeing much damage yet. Okay, my almond tree is finished blooming. We've got to wait for those almonds. I've got a cute little collection of violas down there that are popping up and looking really sweet and pretty. Look at this bloom. I like most violas and most pansies, but I really, really, really like this one. It's the mini tapestry variety. The stems are quite long. The little faces on them are really pretty adorable, and the petals are very ruffled. And they come in a bunch of different colors. My absolute favorite is these ones where they're purple and kind of a orange hue, very doubly ruffled. They just make great little front of the border highlights for the garden. We got borage. Oh, the bulbs are coming up. My goodness, there's a lot going on in my garden at the end of February. Here's something else. Do you all know about Euphorbia? Euphorbia is such a handy group of plants to have in your garden if you've got gophers. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that gophers and deer are quite a scourge for me. So it's really, really great to be able to just plant a plant that you don't need to cage, you don't need to worry about, that it always grows happily in my garden. Now this particular kind of Euphorbia, this one is called donkey tail spurge. That's the pig making a racket for some strange reason. I do not know why. Anyway, back to donkey tail spurge. It is a very succulent looking plant. It looks like it's a succulent, and a lot of people would even consider it a succulent. But right now, end of February, it is beginning to bloom. I have a whole bunch of other euphorbias I'm going to show you in a minute, so stay tuned for that. But donkey tail spurge, or Euphorbia mercenites, is a really low-growing front of the border plant that is absolutely fabulous in a spot that is plagued by gophers, and that also is a little bit iffy on the whole watering. I'm still figuring this whole garden bed out, what I want to do, and this was originally put in as a placeholder. I love it though, because it looks so good against the rocks, doesn't need a lot of water, just looks great all year long anyway, and it's about to bloom. So let's go see what else is happening. Okay, something else I just noticed today is my peony. This is an Ito peony. It is beginning to leaf out, and there's lots of really great buds going on in here. So It's a signal to me to give it some food, which I will a little bit later on. If you've never grown an Ito peony before, and I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced, could be Ito peony. Anyway, they are the hardiest, easiest peonies that you could possibly grow. They can take a lot more sun, they're a little more forgiving, and they are so, so spectacular when they're in full bloom. I remember this one as a pink double. But that's the thing. I pop a plant in, and when it goes dormant, I can't quite remember what it's supposed to look like. So every year, it's a fabulous surprise for me. But look at it. It's looking great. It's coming through fabulously. I planted it in a gopher cage because it is one of those plants that needs protection from gophers. Yeah, I can't wait to see what it's going to do. And over here, I've got a climbing rose. This is Strawberry Hill, a beautiful David Austin rose that I'm going to train all the way up this one. And as you can see, it is thrilled to bits to be alive. The foliage is amazing. It is 100% healthy. Another little reminder, get outside to your garden. Make sure anything that's leafing out or budding up is not being plagued by slugs, snails, or aphids, or anything else nibbling on the leaves, because this gives you lots of time to nip that problem in the bud. What else is blooming in my garden right now? This extraordinary Aloe arborescens. It's also called tree aloe, or the arborescens, that's what that part means. Mine have not grown into trees, but they are so darn spectacular this time of year. The hummingbirds totally adore them. So that's blooming. You know what else hummingbirds really like? That lavender over there. It's the most funky looking, weirdest looking lavender. This guy right here, because I planted it in the wrong spot, I am going to move it, and I do cut it back really hard every single year. But because it's blooming right now, end of February, and hasn't stopped blooming all winter long, I just let it do its thing because the hummingbirds love this lavender. Here's another aloe I really need to point out to you. This is Aloe ciliaris. It also has another name like Aloe polius or something like that, which I can never say, so I'm sticking to its original name, Aloe ciliaris. And look at these blooms. Even in bud form, they're gorgeous, but when they actually open up and you see that yellow throat and anyway, they're so spectacular. And it's practically a vining aloe. It loves to climb up this trellis I've got going on here. And yes, hummingbirds love this one too. The whole world of aloes is really something, and I have become somewhat obsessed with them for a really good reason. Part of the reason being it's blooming now. They bloom January, February, sometimes even December, and it's just so gorgeous seeing these plants blooming this time of year. And anything that a hummingbird likes, I really like them too. Here's an example of way too many of these gorgeous geranium matarenses growing all over the place. But they are suppressing the weeds that are happening underneath them. And I really, really love this jungly look that it gives my garden. And I can always pull them out if they're in the totally wrong place. But look at how incredible they are. Practically dwarfing my little dwarf apple tree, which you can barely see between them all. Anyway, I do love them. Remember I showed you that Euphorbia mercenites back there, a little low-growing ground cover? Well, here is another Euphorbia that's also blooming this time of year. This is Euphorbia black pearl. It may well be a hybridized version of black pearl at this point because it's about 6 feet tall. Black pearl is really supposed to top out at 2 feet. But black pearl is what I planted many years ago. And you can still see the way the flowers look with that little black inflorescence in the middle. But again, in a garden prone to gopher damage and depredation and whatnot, it is so fabulous to have a plant like this I never have to worry about for even 1 second. And the other thing is great about it, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And though the sap is caustic, it's this white sap that if you get in a cut, it stings like crazy. If you're careful about it, it's no problem at all. I absolutely love how these look in flower arrangements. Look what else is blooming in my garden. at the end of February. This gorgeous giant calla lily. I'm 5'5" and so is it. Big gorgeous leaves, big gorgeous blooms, and I just know that spring is really truly on its way once I see these guys blooming. And look at this, the rosemary is also blooming. This particular variety is a very upright variety, as you can tell. Gorgeous dark blue flowers this time of year, which is so great for the honeybees. Absolutely love it. On a warmer afternoon, this will be swarming with bees. This one is Tuscan blue, and believe me, I do harvest a lot, especially in the wintertime, but it doesn't seem to barely make a dent on this plant. It is tough. Wow, there's all sorts of stuff happening in here. Like a nest. I just saw a nest. Anyway, it's really, really tough, loves the sun, doesn't seem to mind getting shaded a teeny bit, but blooms beautifully this time of year, smells incredible, and rosemary has so many uses. Everybody ought to have one of these. If you've got the sun and the climate to grow them, get yourself a rosemary Tuscan blue. Other great thing about it, it can be shaped and topiaried and turned into all sorts of amazing things as you harvest it for eating, but I like to let it just go wild. And what else was blooming in the garden right this minute? This absolutely beautiful native currant. It's a flowering currant, Ribes sanguineum, and I believe this is the Claremont variety. Sometimes I take home a plant from work that has lost its label, lost its tag, and I have to do some guessing. Oh, and as you can see, hummingbirds love this too. That's the little overwintering hummingbird that lives around here. Huh, that is the coolest thing. It doesn't even mind that I'm here. But I have a special fondness for flowering currants one way or the other. I love the fragrance. I love the fact that every flower looks like a little jewel. The fragrance of the foliage. It is tough, it's hardy, seems to do better with a little bit of afternoon shade, but the best thing of all is that the hummingbirds absolutely adore it. I just wanted to mention this real quick. It does not look spectacular right now, but it is still blooming. And it's another plant that the hummingbirds totally adore, so it gets to do whatever it wants all winter long. And once there's another plant or 2 or 10 blooming that's going to keep the hummingbirds super happy, at that point will I trim this plant back. Now this is a Cufia and always in bloom, just like that lavender back there. But once there's enough other things for those hummingbirds, this guy's going to get trimmed back by half. And there we go. I really hope you enjoyed that little trip through my garden here at the end of February. I sure love sharing it with you. And that hummingbird was such a treat. Oh my God. It was wonderful. So thank you so much for following along. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Please go outside to your own gardens, walk around, see what's happening. It is so good for your soul. It is so good to watch nature beginning to like spring back to life, and to watch all the creatures and everything else that knows that spring is on the way start getting going. Like that hummingbird, the other birds that visit my garden, the flowers that are blooming make me feel so good. So go on outside to your own garden, see what's going on, then come on and visit me at Cottage Gardens of Petaluma. Let me know what you see in your garden that really lights up your life and makes your soul sing. In the meantime, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Drop me a comment with the favorite things you see today out in your garden, and I'll see you next time. Happy gardening, everyone.